everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I wanted to do a follow-up video. For whatever reason, I've been getting a lot of comments on my video on depression and isolation. It's very strange because it's been 5 months. At the time of this recording, it's been 5 months since I uploaded that video. It is the holiday season, so Thanksgiving is this week, and then of course we have, Christmas, New Year's, and all of that. So I'm guessing that that was the reason why that video has now gotten a lot of traction. I imagine there's a lot of people out there that are feeling a bit sad and depressed, and they're seeking out content that kind of touches on the subject. Another thing that I wanted to mention before I really get into this video is that I did speak about this, I think, in another one of my videos, that I had started another channel. I had started another channel geared towards giving dating advice to men. And I decided after a few months, I was surprised at how popular it was. I guess it's a very popular subject. But I decided that I did not want to do that kind of content because of the types of people that it was drawing to, to me and or to my channel. And so I deleted the channel. Unfortunately, I think there has been some, migration from that channel to here. And I have had some people mention, bring to my attention some strange comments or some weird things that people are leaving on some of my videos, particularly the one on depression and isolation and one on dating and being chronically ill. And so I just wanted to let you guys know that I think there was some migration from that channel. They seem to possibly have found me here. But I'm not going to worry too much about that yet. If my channel suddenly disappears or I delete it, it's probably because I was just getting too much, an audience that I would prefer not to have on this channel. So I will give you guys that heads up that if this channel just disappears, that's because I just don't want that type of audience here. I made that decision because there was just something about that, the type of people that are drawn to that kind of content that just didn't sit well with me. And it's just not the type of content that I really want to be making. So I want to give you guys an update because some of you did also express concern about my situation. Keep in mind that video was 5 months ago, so that was probably in the summer sometime, like at the beginning of the summer. And, I had been struggling with a lot of side effects from some medication and just my health, declining in general. My health is still not great. That's probably something that's not going to change. And it's something that I just kind of have to deal with and, manage on my own. But as far as depression and isolation and those types of feelings, I do think that it has improved. There's been a lot going on in my life, and I think that kind of keeps you busy. It keeps your mind busy. It keeps you from really dwelling on certain things. And, you don't have the time, I guess, to sit and feel lonely or feel, you know, isolated, especially when you have to do, I have to run my own errands now. I have to do my grocery shopping. I've been having to, battle a lot of battles personally in my life. So I kind of just wanted to give you guys an update on all of that because, like I said, some of you were expressing concern, and I didn't feel like the video came across as like I'm super depressed and this is not great. My life sucks. I think it was just me sort of trying to relate to other people that have chronic health issues, because a lot of us don't really get out much or do stuff like, or socialize, and so it can kind of feel isolating. I also think that I sort of have like a reverse seasonal depression type of thing. I tend to be more depressed and feel more isolated during the summer. And then once it gets cooler and the holidays roll around, I find that I have more of a distraction with the holidays, and, just there are always like different events, parades, and holiday stuff happening, and that sort of keeps me distracted. And, I know that there's people that get very depressed during the holiday season. I'm just not one of those people. I'm actually grateful for the holidays because it does provide a sort of distraction. Even if I don't celebrate the holidays with my family, which has happened a few times, and sometimes I prefer it. There's still other stuff to do, like other events, and I don't know, it just kind of keeps me busy. So here are some updates. Somebody was telling me in the comments to get a different car, which I thought was really funny because I can't just up and get a different car, you guys. I am disabled. I live off of Social Security. I can't just go and get another car. I we do have our car chargers now active here on the second floor. We also have some chargers on the first floor, but those are public. The ones on the second floor are just for residents. We have our car chargers now, so I can charge my car. I have more freedom to roam around. Obviously, I do have to pay for charging, but that has really helped quite a bit. So it's given me the freedom to just go out and not have to worry so much about finding a charging station. So I think that has helped quite a bit. So there have also been a series of wins in my life recently. I can't get too in depth into some of them because I legally cannot speak about them, but I have won a few legal battles. One of them was with the IRS. Some of you may not know, I was married before, and unfortunately, my ex-husband owes some money to the IRS, and I was not working at the time, but when you're married to somebody, they come after you as well, regardless of whether you're disabled or anything like that. So I was able to find a new tax person to help me with that. If you guys want more details about this situation, let me know if you'd like me to make a separate video. I don't want to go too into depth with it here because it would take a long time, but if you are disabled and you were previously married and you have that IRS coming after you, please let me know because I wish I would have had someone help me with this. But it's been sorted out, and I am now not responsible for paying the IRS for money that I do not owe. And I have also had some other financial wins. I had to go to small claims for another situation, and I had another legal situation, and I am, going to be receiving. I'm going to be getting I'm going to be getting my money back. I'm not, getting any more money than what I'm owed, but it's a lot of money, and I'm just happy. All of that stuff has sort of lifted this weight off my shoulders, and yes, it has kept me busy because, I've had to be sorting these things out, going to court, doing those types, doing all the running around, but it kind of kept my mind off of other issues, and I'm happy that these things were able to be sorted out, and I came out. I don't want to say I came out winning, but I'm not losing. I'm not losing, and I'm getting what was mine. So I'm happy about that. It also, because I have, I'm going to have more money now, it gives me more of a sense of financial security. Not, I was still, I'm still in a stable financial situation, fortunately. And so this just kind of is the icing on the cake. I don't feel so stressed out about finances. We were talking about this in my previous video that, when you're on a fixed income, it's not like you can just go out and do fun stuff, right? I can't just buy a Disney pass so that I can, go to Disneyland, a few times a month because those things are expensive and I have other bills to pay. Well, now, if I so choose, I may be able to afford to get myself a Disney pass. This is just an example, by the way. But I may be able to get a Disney pass, and if there's one day when I just feel bored or isolated, I could just drive to Disneyland and just spend a day there, even if it's just sitting down or, watching a show or something there. I could do that. So again, the depression and the isolation can sometimes be caused by your lack of financial security. You don't want to go anywhere or do anything because you don't know if you can really afford it. So all of these things have, helped to relieve some of that financial stress. And, I've been doing a lot of shopping. I've been doing a lot of Christmas shopping as well, but I have been doing a lot of shopping and feeling a little bit more freedom with the ability to buy things for myself without feeling guilty or without feeling financially choked. I also told you guys there was a video that I did. I did talk about this in the depression isolation video, that I was living with my parents, and now I'm living on my own. One of the big stressors was that my parents were going to sell their house and leave. They were going to leave the state, and they have decided not to do that. And although I do have a complicated relationship with them, it is very stressful to know that you're chronically ill, and then your two primary caregivers are leaving the state and essentially leaving you without that tiny bit of extra help, because they do help me on occasion with certain things. And so that kind of relieved some stress as well. I do go visit them. I can choose when I want to visit them, which is nice. I have the freedom to do that. I think at the time, because my sister and her husband were living there, they're no longer living there. I kind of was avoiding going over there because it was just a full house. It was just a lot of stress. Now, they are still taking care of the baby, but it's just my parents, and I can go and visit them on the weekend, and it's just the three of us, and we can just kind of have a normal conversation. So I think part of the depression, the isolation, was because I wasn't going over there as much because it was just a madhouse. It was just very stressful to be in a house where there was just so many people. They had this huge dog there. I love dogs, but it's just a lot, especially once you get accustomed to being on your own. You go to a house where there's just a bunch of people and animals and noise and all of this stuff, and you just don't want to be there. As depressed and isolated as I would feel sometimes at home, I just didn't want to be there. It's almost like I would rather just be alone than to deal with that chaos. And so now I have been visiting them more often. We've been able to have conversations a little bit easier, like especially if I go on the weekend when they don't have the baby, we can actually have a conversation and talk, and and just kind of, there's more of a sense of normalcy when I just see my parents, just the three of us. It's almost like when I was there living with them and it was just the three of us. I've discovered audiobooks, and I told you guys this in the last video. I've discovered audiobooks because I can't focus on reading very well, but audiobooks have helped a lot. So I've been, playing a lot of audiobooks, discovering new podcasts. There's actually a podcast called Well Enough Alone that talks about being on your own, and that has been helpful to listen to. I've also been listening to some child-free podcasts as well, and that has been really helpful because I also don't have children, so it's nice to know that there's a community out there that I can relate to. So it's really it's very comforting, and you feel almost like this sense of belonging. I also joined a women's group that meets on Zoom. It's also a group of child-free women, and so those things have been helping me to find a sense of community, because I think that's also another issue, that yes, I can find groups, groups to join, or clubs or support groups, but you also want to find like-minded people, because I have had friends in the past, and every time I've made, especially a female friend, the friendship has always gone south, because we're just very different people. They value certain things that I just don't value. There's always this pressure. They always have a boyfriend, and they always feel the need to sort of pressure me into dating, the boyfriend's friend. And I think there is sort of a lack of respect to someone that might just want to be on their own. And so those things, I've learned that I have to find like-minded women like myself that have things that we have actual things in common, big things in common. For example, like not having children. So I think that's kind of like that's kind of the trick, that you have to find people that are like you and have a lot of similarities to you in order to actually make something work, as far as a friendship goes, or like a support group, that kind of thing. I'm trying to see here on my list here. So as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I had another YouTube channel. I deleted it. It just wasn't the type of energy that I needed in my life, and it's not something that I'm interested in. and I was surprised at how popular it was. But on that same note, I also deleted my dating apps, and I did this several months ago before the election here in the United States because I know it's becoming kind of like a trend to stop dating after the election. This was several months before the election. I just had this feeling. I was like, this is not safe. And I know somebody did comment on my other video that it just wasn't safe. It didn't seem like I was in a safe situation with people that I was dating. And now that I look back, it's probably true that some of those situations were probably not very safe. But I also noticed the pattern that a lot of these people, a lot of these, men, I can't speak to, the women that are on these apps, but a lot of the men that are on the app are just probably not the best types of people to meet up with. So I deleted the apps, and I actually don't really miss it. I don't really, I feel like, I think I'm sort of coming to terms with being on my own, and it kind of feels good, like it's like I'm just making peace with it. I don't need to feel this obligation to date someone or be with someone. I think part of the reason why I was doing it was because I was feeling that loneliness, that depression, that isolation. I was looking for a distraction from those things, and I was finding it in, these dating apps. And you know, I have to consider that it can be, a dangerous situation. Speaking of danger, I don't want to get into politics too much, but if you guys are interested, especially the women on here, I do want to make a video on sort of staying safe if you're alone and you're chronically ill. I am looking into buying. I already have something. I have mace, but I am looking into buying another type of, I don't want to call it a weapon. I don't know if it's considered a weapon, but something else, something a little bit stronger or a little bit more, I don't know, aggressive. Because I just do feel that the atmosphere in the United States is changing. And some of you have seen the comments. You saw some of the comments on my depression and isolation video. You've seen some of the comments on the video about dating and chronically ill. And some of you expressed concern over some of those comments. And like I said, I do think that some of these people migrated from the dating channel that I had, and somehow they ended up finding me recently. And so those aren't people that are chronically ill and that are truly interested in the content of this channel. They simply somehow found me and they were like, oh, that's the same girl. And so here they are on this channel, looking at content that really isn't relevant to them. So, like I said, the climate here in the United States is changing, and I do think that I need extra protection. So I will be doing that probably in the next few months, figuring that situation out, and I will let you guys know. If you guys are interested in me, doing a video on how to protect yourself. I mean, I'm not an expert in that, but I will show you the things that I have, that I've, things that I mean, I haven't used them yet. I hope I will never have to use them, but if you're interested in that, I can do a video on that. I think I also now have a renewed sense of gratitude for this, isolation. As I said, a few minutes ago, when I go to my parents' house, they're babysitting. They are now in charge of taking care of this baby, and it's chaos. It's crazy. It's just, she's very cute and, brings a lot of joy to your life, but also there's a lot of stress. And I think I went from feeling depressed and isolated to knowing that this is now my safe haven, because I can see how stressful that life is. I can see the level of pressure that they're under. Their patience wears thin because obviously my parents are getting close to their 70s, and they're taking care of a toddler, a baby. And I do think that if I had not found this housing situation, all of that stress would have been thrown on me because I'm younger. I don't think um, me being chronically ill really uh, is a reality to them. And so I think they would have seen it as, well, you're younger. Why don't you take care of this child, because this is something you're supposed to be doing anyways. I think that you know would have probably happened, or I would have had to be part of the caregiving um, the caregiving squad there. And I can't tell you how grateful I am that I am not there, that I am not at that house anymore, because I do feel that a lot of the responsibility, the caregiving responsibility of this child would have fallen to me. And I just can't. I mean, I can't because of my health issues, and I can't because I don't want to. I made the decision not to have children because I didn't want that responsibility. And neither did they. My parents did not want that responsibility. They had been very clear that they did not want to be taking care of a small child, and unfortunately, they have been obligated to do so. So, I think all of those things have they have given me a new perspective on my living situation. I and to be honest, like when I started seeing all these comments on the depression isolation video, I didn't realize that I hadn't been feeling depressed or isolated in quite some time, or at least I had not had a moment to think about it, I guess, because of all the things that have been going on in my life. And it was almost like this shock when I saw all of your comments on that video, and I was like, whoa, where is this coming from? And people were like scared for me and worried about me. So I wanted to do this follow-up video to let you guys know that things change. You might be feeling depressed and lonely and isolated right now, but things can change. And something may happen, and you may feel very, very lucky that you have your own place, or that that there aren't people in your space disrupting your life. And that certainly has really hit home the last several months. And I don't know, it was just such a bizarre thing to see the contrast between when I made that video and now, and thinking to myself, wow, when was the last time that I felt isolated and lonely and scared, And to be honest, I guess maybe it was just, I just needed to adjust. Again, it could have been side effects from the medication that I was on, because I know that some people report depression and anxiety as a side effect. But just wanted to let you guys know I'm doing okay, and not to worry about me. And I hope that you guys have good holidays, a good holiday season, because, I know some people really struggle through this. And yeah, I don't know what that feels like. I've never been, like I said, I'm not a holiday depressive person. I'm more of a summer depressive person. But, I hope the best for you. Watch some movies, listen to some podcasts. If you can get out, outside, get outside. Um, but, things change and they fluctuate. The way that you're feeling today may not be the way that you're feeling tomorrow. Things can change very quickly. So, anyways, thank you so much for joining me today. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.